Hi everybody, Lori here for Simon Says Stamp. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm back with another fantastic STAMPtember collaboration, this time designed by our favorite Mama Elephant, and it's called Christmas Block Set. This is an adorable holiday-themed stamp set. There's two sentiments. Celebrate all the magic of Christmas and have yourself a merry little Christmas. And then the Christmas gang. Santa, Mrs. Claus, little elf, Rudolph, tree. There's some individual like a heart, a star, and a flower. There's a coordinating die set that cuts out the gang and the three little images. Okay, so I'm going to start starting. I have a panel of Hammermill white cardstock on my mini MISTI here, and I'm going to stamp the little Christmas gang with Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to color it with Copic. So this is my favorite ink lately to be using that is Copic friendly. I used to use Memento, but I found that Simon Says Stamp is a little bit darker black. Maybe it's just newer and juicier. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to show some of my Copic coloring process. I have my marker caps there. I did speed this up just a titch. And because, I'm pretty straightforward. I've called myself the redneck Copic color because, I'm usually one or two tones and try to get a little shading, little blend, nothing fancy. You know what I mean? Like if I can do it, anybody can do it. Now, if you want to know how to color like a master, then you need to check out Alberto from Italy. He colors like a sorcerer. I don't even know how he does what he does. Like he has the vision. Speaking of vision, one of my new neighbors, her name is Deb. She came over today and brought me, let me just preface this by saying we have recently moved to Minnesota. We've been here about maybe we're going on the third week, and everybody's so friendly. And the neighbor, we have on our porch these hooks, where you would hang ferns or potted flowers, but they were just hooks. And I haven't done anything with our porch, like as far as decorating and whatnot. I'm just trying to get my clothes put away. But our sweet neighbor, Deb, brought over today two big, luscious hanging ferns, and I hung them on the hooks, and I was like, thank you, that is so thoughtful. And she's like, well, honestly, I was just dumping them out because I wanted to hang my fall mums, because the ferns, they're gonna probably die once the frost hits unless you bring them inside, which I asked Deb, can I bring those inside? She's like, you can, but they will, all the little leaves and stuff that fall, I don't know. Here's the thing. I want to be a plant lady. I want to. But I just spend most of my energy making cards, and that's just the way she goes. So I was blabbing away here, but you can see I kept the coloring pretty simple. And I did reds and greens, added a little bit of oranges and yellows and aquas just to pop in some rainbow tones there. Actually, I think Santa has a red bag. I don't know why I colored it dark gray, but you can get away with whatever. For the background, I'm going to blend up a rainbow panel just because. I don't know, but sometimes you need to blend it up. And I'm using all positively saturated inks by Simon Says Stamp, starting with blush. And I'm using some of the Rainbow Splash blender brushes. I had a nice new set when I moved here, so I pulled them out, put them in my brush holder, and I've been saving these ones, using them on my lightest tones. That's always my goal, to keep a set of brushes really light and then keep a set of brushes that get really dark. It usually never ends up, you know what I mean? I end up mixing them all up, and then after a few years maybe I'll get new ones. We'll see. Here I moved on to peachy, so I'm trying to get a nice seamless blend through blush, peachy, and lemonade. If I forget to mention an ink color or a supply, everything that I'm using will be listed in the description box if you're watching on YouTube. Now I'm bringing in a little celery. Have I ever said that my husband calls it salary? I don't know if he's from Canada. Is that a Canadian thing? Salary? I'm like, it's celery. But we'll say here in Minnesota, what do they say? We call it a bag, and they call it a bag. I'm not even doing it justice. I mean, is it a bag? A bag? I don't. Anywho, speaking of vision, I was going back to the story about how my neighbor Deb had the vision. So she brought over the ferns, and she's like, Laura, you have these beautiful benches. Go to Walmart. I saw they just have some really cute fall indoor-outdoor pillows. Get a couple pillows for your benches. Get a flower pot next to your door. Get some pumpkins and I was like, Deb, you have the vision. You have the vision. She, like, everything she was saying, I was digging. I'm like, yes, Deb, we need to make the porch look gorgeous. And I know that I want to do that, but here's the reality. A lot of times I just don't put any effort in. And I'm not bragging. That is nothing to brag about. It's pathetic. But back in Illinois, there were some years where I really got into it, and I did the mums and the pumpkins. And then there were a couple times that you ever had teenagers come and steal your pumpkin and smash it in the street? And it really chapped my khakis. And it kind of, anywho, by the way, I'm flicking on, after I blended my panel and I die cut it with the Eyelet Frames dies. This was a new die that just came out in their holiday release. I'm flicking on some white pigment ink to give it kind of a subtle snowy rainbow eyelet framed background. And here I'm getting the lay of the land. I'm going to stamp the sentiment. And I let this white pigment flickers dry. You know, you got to make sure everything's dry before you start stamping. So I chose one of the sentiments in the Christmas block set. I'm going to ink it up again with that intense black ink, stamp it, because I'm going to add a little bit of accent with some Copics. It looks great like it does. Doing a little bit of tape runner on the back of this panel. Going to tape it down to a white card base. You could also pop this up. You could put it on a solid color cardstock card base for a contrast. I did a little bit of that Big Mama foam tape it's very thin, which I love. A little bit of dimension to the Christmas gang. And now what I'm doing here is taking a few Copic markers, and I'm trying to use the same shades that are in the blended background. So I wanted to kind of like pop a little bit, but not contrast. I'm not trying to add a new color in. I still want it to be like blush, peachy, lemonade, celery. You know what I mean? I want it to be in those families, but I just wanted to give it a little zhuzh. I don't know. This was an afterthought. I also thought about coloring in the letters with a white gel pen. I don't know, different things you could do to these block letters. I love block letters. Did anybody used to draw block letters growing up? I did till the cows came home. And I'm telling you, even now today, when my kids ever want me to like put something on a birthday envelope or something on a paper, and they're like, can you write my name with those big block letters? I can do that with my eyes closed because I did it so much when I was younger. I have it mastered. Even the shadowing. I can doodle like nobody's biz. But can I keep a fern alive? That remains to be seen. I will have to, you know what? I'm going to go get some pillows at Walmart, because I have a couple benches. Put them on the bench, get some mums pumpkins, and I'll take a picture of my porch so you can see. And then here what I'm doing is taking a T1 Copic marker. It's just kind of a gray, like a neutral gray. It's very, very subtle. And I'm doing a little bit on the shadow of the letters. It barely shows up, but it does make the shadow ever so slightly darker. I don't know. Sometimes you got to know when to stop. And I just kept adding. Then after this, I'll add some sequins. But that's the fun of crafting. You know what I mean? You just get in the zone and you add some flicks. You add some shading. You add some embellishments. And next thing you know, you're adding a bow. But look at this card is finished. Have yourself a merry little Christmas with Mama Elephant. Check out the blog. Lots more inspiration. Hope you're enjoying this Stamptember. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.